Good morning, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order for the Western Municipal Water District Regular Board Meeting of July 1st, 2026 at 9:30. May we have roll call, please?
Thank you. Good morning. Director Gardner.
I am here.
Director Torres.
Here.
Director Denstedt.
Present.
Director Risby.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, President Roten.
And I am here. Good morning.
Good morning, President Roten. You have a quorum today.
Okay. I thank you. I would like to invite Christy Carroll, Management Analyst 2, Operations Department / Administration, to come forward to lead us in the pledge. And can you just tell us briefly about yourself and how long you've been at Western, fun facts?
Okay. Christy Carroll, I've been here for over a year. Fun fact, I was in a band recently.
Okay.
Lasted like 3 months. Schedule changed, but that was fun. I performed. It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I enjoy working here. It's my favorite job. So another fun fact. And if everyone can please join me, can we get started? Okay. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Christy, how long have you been here?
She said it, she did.
Over a year.
Yeah. She's part of the growth of Chris Fikes Group and the asset management group. And we do so much with data. We get data, and then you have to have really smart people to do something good with data and analyzing things. So we're really happy to have her. She's been doing a great job.
Well, thanks, Craig. That's very nice.
Now get back to work.
Okay, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to my desk.
Thank you, and extra appreciation for the fun fact. Okay, we'll move on to public comments. Ms. Ford, do we have any public comments today?
We do not. I see no requests to speak in the audience, and I've received no written requests.
Okay, we'll move on to presentations. Metropolitan Water District of Southern California Water Supply Update. Mr. Miller?
All right, thank you very much. We are so lucky today because Metropolitan is sending the stars of the Metropolitan show down here to entertain
Nice.
us. Nusha Razavian is here. She usually has a team that introduces her and plays music, but I'll read what she told me to read. She's a resource specialist.
Walk on me. Wow.
Resource specialist with Metropolitan's resource planning team. She's been with Metropolitan for 7 years. She works on Metropolitan's long-term planning efforts, local resources development, emergency drought response planning, and modeling. She serves as the lead of Metropolitan's water surplus and drought management technical team, which coordinates Metropolitan's operations and programs to manage both dry and wet years. So we hear from Nusha all the time up at Met. So our monthly member agency managers meetings on Fridays, she always does the water supply updates. She's the one who's trying to explain, what the state water project allocation means for Metropolitan's overall demands, what's happening on the Colorado River. And so we hear from Nusha a lot. So we're happy you're here, Nusha.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Craig. I'm happy to be here. It's so great to meet all of you. So I'll have a mixture of good and bad news today in terms of our water supply update, which is kind of the story all around lately. But so I'll first begin with those hydrologic conditions that we've seen this year. And I'll start with the State Water Project allocation. So as some of you may have heard, a couple months ago, the Department of Water Resources increased the allocation from 30% to 45%. And for Metropolitan, that's a supply of about 880,000 acre feet. So quite a bit of an improvement from what we were seeing. And it's really great news given the snowpack conditions that we were seeing this year, which I'll get to in a few moments. And the department did express that this is anticipated to be the final allocation this year. So we do not anticipate it going up any further. Now, the other good news is that they are anticipating having what's called transfer capacity within the Delta this year. So they're able to move some water from Yuba Water Agency that every year they may or may not have water available. But when they do have water available, Metropolitan likes to buy those supplies because they're relatively cheap. So this year they're about $150 per acre foot. And we're anticipating about 5,000 to 8,000 acre feet of those supplies. So when you do the math, it's like the price of going to the World Cup game today. So very cheap. But
We'll take it.
yeah, but we like to capitalize on those supplies when we can because of the relatively good price. Now, this is a summary of the conditions that we've seen on the State Water Project, but I'll get into more specifics on the next few slides, but this is for your reference. Now, in terms of the snowpack this year, you probably saw many headlines about how poor of conditions we saw within the Northern California. And you can see in that orange line here of just how poor that snowpack was. So quite below average than when we typically like to see. And not only was it below average, it also peaked quite early this year. So typically we see the snowpack peaking around April 1st. But this year, given the really hot and dry conditions in the month of March, the snowpack actually started to melt at the end of February. So it peaked about 40% of normal, but the good news is that the runoff conditions within Northern California were relatively good given the amount of rain that came in this year, and so it was about 90% of normal in terms of runoff. So despite poor snowpack conditions, really good runoff conditions that have helped improve that allocation that we saw this year. Now, the other really good news for us is the conditions within Lake Oroville. So the largest reservoir on the State Water Project, it actually was reached nearly full this year, which is the 4th year in a row that it was at full or nearly full, which is really good coming out of the 2020 to 2022 drought period that we had. And so since then, it's been sitting at a very healthy condition. And so with those good conditions in Oroville, that will help us go into the next year as well in case we do have a drought sequence facing us in the coming years. Now, the other reservoir that we have paid attention to on the State Water Project is San Luis Reservoir. So the state and the Bureau of Reclamation store water in San Luis Reservoir. This chart is only just showing you the State Water Project share of San Luis. And this reservoir is important for Metropolitan because we store what's called carryover supplies in here. So that's our supplies that are carried from one year over to the next. And so it's important for us to be able to store a good amount of water there since there's limited places on the State Water Project to store water at the present. And so being able to store a good amount of water there is helpful for us. So right now that reservoir is also sitting in a pretty good spot, and it likely will be probably full going into next year, which again is good news for us going into this next calendar year. Now, this is where we get into the bad news, of course, is the Colorado River side of things, where if you've heard Bill Hazenkamp from Metropolitan speak, he and his team are very knowledgeable on this, and they are working very hard in terms of the negotiations that are going on the Colorado right now. But kind of a similar story to what we saw on the state side, below normal snowpack conditions in the upper Colorado River Basin. But unfortunately, unlike the state side, the runoff conditions have been pretty poor the last few years on the Colorado, which has led to some really poor conditions within the reservoirs of Lakes Powell and Meade on the Colorado side. So you can see here that the snowpack on the Colorado peaked about 50% of normal, but the runoff was about 3 million acre feet, or 35% of normal for what we typically like to see. Now, of course, this has led to some pretty poor conditions, again, within Lake Mead. So the Bureau of Reclamation has the discretion to cut releases from Lake Powell when conditions are pretty bad on the Colorado River side of things. And so that is what they have done this year. And when you cut releases from Powell, that has cascading effects to the amount of water that will go into Lake Mead. So you can see from this blue line here, which is the actual reservoir conditions in Mead over the past few years, leading into the orange line, which is the most probable forecast from the Bureau of Reclamation. They are currently forecasting the reservoir to drop quite significantly over the next few years. Now, the reason to pay attention to this is because when you get to a certain level in the Lake Mead Reservoir, there's concerns over power generation over Hoover Dam. So you don't want the reservoir to drop too much to face those concerns. Now, the other concern as well for Metropolitan is under that 1025 feet line that you see on the Lake Mead graph, that's when we face the inability to access what we call our ICS supplies in Lake Mead. So we store about 1.6 million acre feet in Lake Mead Reservoir under our name. And so if that reservoir reaches below that, current operating guidelines prohibit us from being able to take water out of that storage account at this time. Now, the lower basin states, including California, and Metropolitan was part of this as well, did propose a May 1st proposal to the Bureau of Reclamation on potential cuts that we are willing to take over the next few years. And so currently, the Bureau of Reclamation is looking over that proposal, but that proposal includes California and specifically Metropolitan it's cutting back about 440,000 acre feet in 2027 and additionally in 2028 of our Colorado River supplies. So typically right now we receive about 1 million acre feet on the Colorado. So it is potential that we may have about 600,000 acre feet if we are facing those cuts. And ideally we would like to supplement those, our Colorado River supplies with takes from our storage. So being able to take from that ICS and that Lake Mead storage would be very critical for us in the coming years. We haven't formally heard back from the Bureau on that proposal, but we are hoping to hear back later this month. Now, in terms of going back into good news, our current calendar year supplies for Metropolitan in terms of our imported supply, we currently have about 1.8 million acre feet for our imported supply. That includes that State Water Project allocation of 45%, as well as about 960,000 acre feet on the Colorado right now. Meanwhile, in terms of the demand on Metropolitan, there's several things that we use for this demand number that you see here. Looks like it got cut off a little bit, but in the box that you see here, it includes both our consumptive and replenishment demand of about 1.3 million acre feet, but it also includes other exchanges and obligations that we have with external agencies. So Metropolitan's board this past year did approve selling water externally to help with our budget. And so that is something that we have been actively engaged on both last year and this year as well. So now even on top of that supply and demand balance, we have an additional water that we can put into different surplus actions this year. And so what we're planning to do with that surplus water is that first and foremost, we'll be meeting our member agency demands, but we'll also be increasing our storage on the Colorado River side of our shop. And so what we plan to be doing is that we will be leaving water in Lake Mead, not under our name, but under the system water creation bucket that the Bureau has been engaging in the last couple years to help increase levels at Lake Mead. And so fortunately for us, leaving water there will not only help protect the water levels at Lake Mead, but we'll also likely receive compensation for that water as well, likely around $325 to $350 per acre foot. Now, additionally, we will be maximizing deliveries to our Desert Water and Coachella Valley accounts. So those are two agencies out by the Colorado River in California, and so we do store water with them, and that's additional storage account that we can pull from when needed in the coming years. And then in addition to that, we will be increasing and maintaining our pretty high storage accounts in the State Water Project and in region. So that includes keeping a lot of water in that San Luis Reservoir I mentioned earlier, as well as filling Diamond Valley Lake storage this year. And then if we need additional actions like selling water externally or whatnot, we will be exploring that as well. Currently, we started this calendar year with about 3.8 million acre feet in dryer storage, so we are looking to increase that further going into next year. So trying to put us in a better spot as we go into this very uncertain post-2026 world on the Colorado River. Now, in terms of some updates on some proposed projects being discussed at Metropolitan, we have a really great Bay Delta team that will definitely know more about this, and I know Western is very engaged on these projects, but I'll just highlight them briefly. So we'll start with our Delta Conveyance Project, which I know many of you probably have heard about, which is that 6,000 CFS capacity project with 2 intake facilities and a total cost of about $20 billion. Now, for Metropolitan, we currently have invested about $140 million of planning costs for the Delta Conveyance Project, and that is through 2027. In terms of a timeline for that project, you can see here with many boxes, but the main ones to be kind of looking out for is that we likely will have a potential vote within Metropolitan's board at the end of 2027 for the Delta Conveyance Project. Now, another big project being discussed, of course, is Sites Reservoir, a very much needed new storage project within California on the State Water Project system. Total capacity is about 1.5 million acre feet, but Metropolitan's share would be about 312,000 acre feet of that reservoir. And in total, that cost is roughly about $7 billion. In terms of the timeline for that project, we are awaiting the water rights for the Sites Reservoir, and in the coming months, Metropolitan staff will be presenting this item to our board, and likely we will have an action at the end of this year into early next year for the Sites Reservoir, whether or not we would like to partake in that project or with some varying degrees of participation. And then the last item I want to highlight is that our engineering staff at Metropolitan has also been researching quite a bit on a new reservoir project for Metropolitan south of the Delta. So Sites Reservoir is north of the Delta. And so they are currently engaging in various studies on where exactly that project may take place throughout California and in what degree that size it may be. Currently, they're forecasting it to be about 300,000 acre feet, but in terms of exactly what it may look like is still under determination. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Do we have any questions?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, it doesn't sound like there are any questions, but thank you so
Ma-
much.
Thank
Madam
you.
President, I did have one.
Oh, go ahead.
What was the elevation level where you run into trouble extracting water from Mead?
Under 1025, so
1025,
currently,
okay.
yeah, so that's
Thank
something
you.
that was part of our proposal, was to try to be able to have access under that amount.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
the orange, if you notice the orange bar, it's dipping
Yes.
below that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've got a challenging year ahead of
Yes.
us on the Colorado.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we will, move on to the consent calendar. Looks like there are 4 items.
Minutes.
Any questions or any to be pulled, or do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion. So moved.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Were there any public comments regarding consent?
There are none.
Okay, I think we are ready for the vote, please.
Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Denstedt,
Aye.
Director Risby,
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, and we'll move on to item 7, items to be added to the agenda today.
There's nothing to
Mr.
add
Miller,
today.
nothing, okay. And moving on to item 8, action agenda. 8A is hold a public hearing on proposed fiscal year 2026-2027 water and sewer availability charges for the Murrieta service area and adopt a resolution setting forth water and sewer availability charges proposed for the Murrieta service area within Western Municipal Water District. Do I do the script now or after the report?
After the report.
Okay. So I'll
Thank you very
hand
much.
this over to you, Mr. Paul.
We will take it, so, let me turn it over to Rick. These, we do this every single year. This is fairly routine. So, we know the plan. Let's go.
So we've actually considered most of the report within the script itself, so we can just start with that.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
You want to open the hearing?
This is the time and place set for the public hearing regarding the collection of fiscal year 2026, 2027 water and sewer availability charges on the tax roll for property within Western Water's Murrieta service area.
Notice of the hearing has been properly given. The required notice was published in the Press Enterprise, a newspaper of general circulation in Riverside County on June 10th and June 17th, 2026. All the requirements of setting the public hearing were met.
Okay, the documents are ordered, received, and filed.
The board is being asked to adopt the water and sewer availability charges listed in Resolution 3391. The charge is equal to $21 per acre, with a fraction of an acre being rounded up, for both water and sewer, for a combined total of $42 per acre. The amount of the charges have remained unchanged for the last 23 years since fiscal year 2002, 2003. And water and sewer charges billed monthly to customers along with availability charges are used to provide the necessary revenue to pay for operating and maintaining the water and sewer systems in the Murrieta service area. The collection of availability charges has historically been collected on the property tax roll and assessed on every parcel within the Murrieta service area. Assessing the charges on all parcels promotes cost sharing between existing customers and unconnected property owners, all of whom benefit from the region having water and sewer service available. It also adheres to the standard of cost causation, where Western Water, as the service provider, has incurred significant capital investment and ongoing maintenance costs in order to provide service to both existing and future customers. By assessing availability charges as operating revenue, approximately $278,000 of the system operating expenses are paid for that otherwise would need to be offset in higher water and sewer customer rates.
Thank you. The hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this issue?
President Roten, I see no requests to speak at this time. I have no requests on Zoom, and we've received no written comments.
Okay. There being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. The matter is now before the board for discussion. So, thank you. I was trying to flip to my staff report. Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
No.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-1 with Director Dinstedt dissenting.
Okay, hold on one second. I need to get to the correct spot in my notebook so I don't miss anything here. Okay. Oops, okay, 8B. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss a comment from you or anything.
No, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, no,
No, I'm
I'm
good.
happy to
I
make a
just-
comment if you'd really want one.
No, I just
but-
wanted to make sure that I didn't, like, not glance at you. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, we're
Okay.
fine. I mean, it's something that we do every single year, and it's something that, I think staff is just really aware of where my position is, and
Yeah.
I was part of the Murrieta County Water District that set this charge back in 2003, and so it's all
Yeah,
good.
not trying to put you on the spot.
it's all
Just
good.
wanted to make sure I didn't miss it. Okay, I will move on to item, oh, wait. We all voted, right?
You did.
Yes. Oh, yeah, duh. Okay. The next item is item 8B, hold a public hearing for collection of charges for sewer service and adopt a resolution electing to have such charges collected on the county tax roll.
Very similar. This is for a different area. This is for the Home Gardens area instead of the Murrieta area. President Roten, I think you can go ahead and start the public hearing process.
Okay, thank you. This is the time and place set for the public hearing regarding the collection of sewer service charges and any prior year unassessed sewer service charges on the tax roll for fiscal year 2026 to 2027.
The collection of sewer service charges on the tax roll for fiscal year 26-27 applies to all parcels of real property to which Western provides sewer service, but not water service. Notice of the hearing of proposed collection of such charges on the county tax roll was properly given. The notice was published in the Press Enterprise newspaper of general circulation in Riverside County on June 10th and June 17th, 2026. All the requirements of setting the public hearing were met.
Thank you. The documents are ordered, received, and filed.
The-
Mr. CFO.
Yes, the board is being asked to adopt Resolution 3392, which would place sewer charges on the tax roll to allow for collection from 1,943 sewer customers in the Home Gardens and nearby area, along with one customer in the Murrieta service area who's served by a private well, based on the adopted sewer rates in effect at the time service is provided. These charges apply to customers who do not receive water service from Western Water. Certain accounts also include an additional charge for lateral cleaning and inspection in areas requiring additional pipeline maintenance, and these are all under existing property agreements. The rates being applied were previously adopted by the board following a Proposition 218 compliant rate hearing on June 4th of 2025.
Thank you. The hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak on the issue?
President Roten, we have no request to speak in the audience or online, and I've received no written comments.
Okay, thank you. There being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. The matter is now before the board for discussion. So do we have a motion or
I
any?
will make a
oh,
motion.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
Just to clarify what the general manager just said, that this is similar. This is for actual charges for providing the service to folks, whereas the Marietta is collection of an availability charge, which is a little different. I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Oh, we're clear. I didn't go into all the details.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I think we're ready for the vote, please.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Risby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we will move on to item 8C, hold a public hearing and adopt fees and conditions for the disposal of non-reclaimable wastewater into the Inland Empire brine line and pretreatment compliance fees for wastewater programs for fiscal year 2026 to 2027.
So this item is a rate setting through SAPA for brine disposals into the brine line, so a little different issue than the last two. Spencer is ready to do the presentation.
Thank you, Craig.
Go ahead.
Okay,
And good morning, members of the board. The purpose of this item is to establish rates and charges for the Inland Empire Brine Line and Pretreatment Compliance Program. Next slide, please. To provide some background on this item, these fees relate to industrial wastewater that cannot be sent to a conventional sewer treatment facility. Instead, this type of wastewater is conveyed through the brine line. Western Water is a member agency of the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority, otherwise known as SAPA, which oversees the brine line. SAPA establishes and approves the rates charged to its member agencies, including Western Water. In turn, Western Water passes those rates through to the customers who discharge wastewater into the brine line. These charges are also influenced by costs associated with Western Water's Source Control Compliance Program. SAPA's rates were adopted on June 16, 2026, with an effective date of July 1, 2026, today. The proposed rates before you become effective the same as SAPA's effective date, July 1, 2026. This is a routine item that is reviewed and updated annually. Next slide, please. The rate adjustment process is based on a cost of service study, which helps ensure that rates are equitable and that the full cost of providing the service is recovered. This study takes into account the biennial budget, historical revenues and expenses, SAPA rate changes, projected customer flows into the brine line, and a time allocation study related to pretreatment compliance activities. Based on that analysis, some of the current rates and fees are not sufficient to fully recover the cost of service. Next slide, please. There are two types of brine line dischargers. First are direct connection dischargers. These are typically customers that generate high volumes of wastewater, are located near the brine line, and have a direct physical connection to it. One example is Western Water's Arlington Desalter facility. The second type of dischargers are indirect dischargers. These customers are located within Western Water's SAPA boundary, but instead of discharging directly into the brine line, they must transport their wastewater by truck to a designated discharge station. In general, these customers either generate smaller volumes of wastewater or are not located close enough to the brine line for a direct connection. Next slide, please. Thank you. The following slides provide a brief summary of the proposed changes to brine line rates and fees for the coming fiscal year. A more detailed schedule of all proposed changes are included in your attachments 1 through 4. First, I'll cover the fixed charges for direct dischargers. These charges apply regardless of whether any wastewater is discharged during the month. The fixed charges for both pipeline capacity and treatment capacity are proposed to increase by 6.5%, reflecting higher Western Water overhead costs as well as SAPA rate increases. Next slide, please. For direct dischargers, variable charges are driven by both the volume of flow and the quality of that flow. Although SAPA's variable flow rate is increasing by 2%, Western Water's current variable flow rate was determined to remain sufficient to recover costs, so no change is being proposed at this time. Quality charges are assessed based on biochemical oxygen demand, BOD, and total suspended solids, TSS. The proposed BOD and TSS charges would increase by approximately 11%. By way of brief background, these charges originate with the Orange County Sanitation District, or OCSAN, who treats the wastewater. OCSAN passes the charges through to SAPA, SAPA passes them through to Western Water, and Western Water then passes them directly to the customers, and that is without any markup. Next slide, please. For indirect dischargers, variable charges are also based on both the volume and quality of the wastewater flow. The flow rate depends on whether the wastewater is classified as brine or non-brine, and those rates are proposed to remain unchanged from the prior year. Quality charges for indirect discharges are also based on the BOD and TSS. For indirect dischargers, those charges are proposed to increase by 2%. As with direct dischargers, these are pass-through charges. The fees are assessed to customers without markup. Next slide, please. The following annual permit fees apply to both direct and indirect dischargers. These fees reflect Western Water's costs for permitting, source control inspections, and regulatory compliance. Permit classifications are established before a customer begins discharging and are monitored over time for any change in category or classification. The 4 permit classifications are categorical users, significant industrial users, and non-significant industrial users. The proposed percentage increases for each classification are shown here and are also included in your attachment. Next slide, please. Sampling requirements are established under each individual discharger's permit. Sampling fees are assessed for each sample collected and are based on the required sampling frequency, as well as the projected cost of providing that service. Those costs include Western Water labor and overhead, vehicle use, equipment, supplies, and administrative review. Sampling fees for both direct and indirect dischargers are proposed to increase by 6.5%. Next slide, please. In addition to brine line rates and fees, Western Water also charges source control permit fees for industrial dischargers to the Western Water Recycling Facility, otherwise known as WRF. The proposed rate increases are shown here and are provided in greater detail in attachment 4. Western Water also administers a fats, oil, and grease program and a sand, oil, and grease interceptor program for certain commercial customers served by WRF and in Murrieta. Both programs include inspection fees, which are proposed to increase by 6.5%. The increases to these permit and inspection fees are primarily driven by higher labor and overhead costs. Next slide, please. Before we conduct our public hearing today, I'm happy to take any of your questions.
Do we have any questions? No. I don't have a question. Sorry, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to thank you for the details on most all of those pages of what constitutes the increase in the different amounts. I think I just really appreciate being able to see that, and I think it helps the public and the board understand that a little better. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
So I don't see any
Well,
questions.
I might add.
Oh, yes.
We had a very detailed discussion at Finance Committee
Yes.
on this issue, where the board
Yeah.
brought up some questions about higher rate increases than we may have expected. And so, we are following through with SAPA's general manager and with the other SAPA GMs about getting a little more input from Orange County Sanitation District ahead of time as to their cost schedule and their increases that they're projecting over time, because, you know, one of these costs, I think, went up 11%, which really caught us off guard. And then our customers end up paying it, but we aren't really involved in the process. Western is not really involved in the process, SAPA is. And so we're trying to change the way it gets rolled out in the future so that there's more predictability. And we understand SAPA and Orange County Sands negotiations on those cost increases. So,
Great. Thank you.
but that all came out in committee. It's not coming
Yes.
out today.
Yeah.
But
No, I
not always a
appreciate that.
bad thing to highlight those conversations in a board meeting that they're happening at the committee level.
No,
it-
thank you for doing that.
If I can, let me add just a little bit to that, in case any of the public is listening or watches this later. A big driver in that 11% increase in TSS and BOD costs was a directive from OC Sands auditor to change the way they're accounting for some costs. They were listing it as a capital cost, and it needs to be an operating cost. So they made that change. So to OC Sand, the cost is not that much different. I mean, they have a economy-driven increase, cost of living sort of increase. But the bigger piece was the change in accounting. And so that then means that money that was paid directly by OC San is now on the operating side and gets paid by users of the Brine Light. So that's where that came from.
All right. Thank you, Director Gardner. Appreciate that clarification. And I'm always one for the more information, the better. So thank you. It seems like we're ready to start the public hearing. Is that?
Yes, we are.
Okay. This is the time and place set for the public hearing regarding the Inland Empire Brine Line rates and source control compliance fees for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
Notice of the hearing for proposed rates has been properly given. I have proof of publication which shows that the notice was published in the Press Enterprise, a newspaper of general circulation in Riverside County, on June 17th and June 24th, 2026. In addition, we have mailed and emailed letters to customers affected by the proposed fees.
Okay, the documents are ordered, received, and filed. Mr. CFO? He doesn't have a copy. Do you need a copy?
Yes.
Okay, and then can you pass it back so I don't goof up the rest?
The board is being asked to adopt the proposed Inland Empire Brine Line rates and source control compliance fees listed in Resolution 3390. The proposed rates are reflective of a cost of service study, ensuring the customers pay an equitable share of costs for services performed to operate and maintain the brine line and operate the source control compliance program.
Okay, thank you. The hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak on this issue?
I have no request to speak in the room nor online, and I've received no written comments.
Okay, thank you. There being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. The matter is now before the board for discussion.
I would move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Whenever you're ready. Oh,
I have a quick question.
go right ahead.
Just a quick question, so, and I don't know if I asked this in committee or not, but, so if we adopt this today and the vote passes this rate takes effect today?
Correct.
Is that?
Correct,
Is that
yes.
correct?
And it's not unusual, actually, for this rate to be retroactively effective.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, I explained it, it kind of runs from OC San invoices SAPA, who invoices Western, and then we invoice our customers. We usually don't get these invoices for this period until September. And so this is actually a very timely ratification of these rates. Yeah.
Thank you, that's very helpful to know, and I just
Yeah.
thought we should put that out there, so, thank you.
It's a good question.
Okay, now I think we're ready for the vote.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Risby. President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Thank you, Spencer.
My pleasure.
We'll move on to item D, adopt the fiscal year 2026, 2027 budgets and levy of special taxes for Community Facilities District Number 88-1 and Community Facilities District Number 99-1.
Spencer's staying put because he's going to
Okay.
present this one to the board also.
Can we take a
Spencer?
pause for just a moment, please? Big pause. I'm going to do this, yet again, do it every single time. Just want to clarify from legal counsel that I have the ability to be able to participate in this vote, seeing how I am directly affected by 99-1 as my residence is located within that CFD.
That is correct. Under the public generally exception, you're allowed to participate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Staff requests the board adopt resolutions 3388 and 3389, which approve the fiscal year end 2027 budgets and approve the levy of the special taxes on the county tax rolls to collect the revenue required for those budgets for each of the two community facilities districts, or CFDs, 88-1 and 99-1. Since the CFDs are separate legal entities from Western Water, they require their own adopted budgets. The special taxes allow the collection of revenue required to pay the debt service that is due in the coming year on the outstanding bonds for the CFDs and pay for the related administrative expenses. For CFD 88-1, the total budget and levy amount is $129,594. For CFD 99-1, the total budget and levy amounts are $150,306. The proposed levies for both CFDs are reduced by approximately $1,000 from the approved levy amounts in the prior year. The final maturity date of the bonds issued for the CFDs will be in October of 2030, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Comments? No? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Were there any public comments?
We have no public comment.
All right. I think we're ready for a vote, please.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
I am going to vote yes on this item solely for the reason, just because I want to go on the record for this, that it is a reduction in both of these fees and we're almost done with it. And I want to make sure that we're not going to do anything else other than to let this thing roll forward and be completed in 2030. That's my vote and my explanation. Thank you.
Director Risby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Spencer.
Oh, thank you. I got stuck.
Item E, excuse me, 8E, receive and file verbal report regarding emergency repair of Mills Gravity Line and declare a continued state of emergency.
As we brought to the board last board meeting, and the board declared an emergency on this project, the statutory requirement is that we come back to the board every board meeting until it's complete. So Derek is here today to give the board a very brief update.
Yes, and I will keep it brief. Actually, I do not have anything new to report since the last declaration of the emergency at the last board meeting. We do have our engineer that we have retained performing a review of all the data we've collected, and they're developing some various repair alternatives. So until we receive that report, and I did check just now, sending a direct message, is it here yet? It's not in yet, but we're expecting it this week, and then we'll be reporting in the next board meeting. And just as Mr. Miller had stated, we have to report every board meeting while the emergency exists, and what we're asking for you today is just to recognize that the emergency still exists.
So move.
I'll second.
That was my question, was if we needed to vote on this, but it sounds like we do. Okay. Another comment?
I have a quick question. Have we experienced any service interruptions due to this yet? Are we still,
We have not had, let me just say, the Mills Gravity Line is still in service currently. And we don't anticipate taking it out of service until we have a full repair design in effect. And at that point, we probably will have to take it out of service, but you'll know amply and ahead of time.
thank you.
Okay. And did we have any public comments on this item?
We do not.
Okay. Then, let's see, we had a motion and a second already, so we're ready for the vote, please.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Risby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Treasurers.
Derek. All right, we'll move on to item 9, reports. Mr. General Counsel.
Good morning, Madam President. I have nothing to report today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And item B, General Manager and Staff Reports.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Miller.
I'm going to lead off with a super exciting new program. I think I may have touched on this in one of my last reports, but we are launching a new intern program called TIDES. TIDES is Teen Internship for Developmental Experience Series. So we are trying to build career recognition in high school. So this is geared towards high school students. So we're going to have, I believe, eight high school students that are part of this program. We just vetted the candidates. We had a lot of response. We could have done a lot more. We don't have enough employees to do more. They'll be here July 20th through August 6th. So it's a fairly short program meant to be in the summer so that kids can participate. So really looking forward to how it goes. Bianca's done a great job of setting this up and getting it rolling. And I want to thank our executive management team because as Bianca rolled this out a little while ago, the executive management team said, we can do a little more. Let's increase the number a little bit, which is a commitment by staff because, you know, all of a sudden you have these high school kids standing in front of you with like, what are we doing today? And so I really appreciate that our teams stepped up and said, we got to make it a little bigger. We got eight's a good start, but there's a lot of high school kids out there.
It's paid, right?
Yes.
That's, I just have to, my
You want to
son-
go back and apply?
No, I've heard of, my son brought it to my attention, well, I think RUSD must have posted it or something, and so he didn't meet the age threshold, but when I saw that it was paid, I know it sounds like that should be a duh, but there are a lot of agencies that still do unpaid internship programs, and so it speaks to our commitment to just I don't know, taking care of our employees, like including our baby interns. I hope you bring them out here, our little high schoolers. That's so sweet and so cute.
And I just have a question. Is it district-wide or just in the retail areas or for the schools?
It is, I guess it's district-wide, but, because they'll be, depending on where they land internally, they'll be exposed to different things. So I think operations is, I can't remember the numbers, but operations stepped up, so you know, a lot of them be in operations, and so that'll be most our retail area, but there'll be, you know, some in engineering and some in accounting, and they'll be dealing with a bigger area. But
I'm
functionally,
sorry.
it's probably more just on the work that Western does. So you're introducing them to the jobs and the activities and what does a water district do and what's sewer treatment and all that stuff.
So I should have clarified. So when the people that apply, can they be from all over the district, or are we just taking applications from certain schools, or?
Bianca?
Good morning. So since this was our first year, we allowed applicants for all over, so it's not limited to our service area. Of the 8 that we selected, 4 are within our service area, and then we have 4 outside our service area. So we had applicants all the way from Los Angeles, Compton area. I know. They were really dedicated to work with us, so we had individuals from that region. As Director Torres mentioned, RUSD gave us a great shout out, so we had a lot of different students from RUSD. So we have some joining us from Ramona High School, Pauley High School, North High School, and then a few other high schools, Martin Luther King High School in our service area.
Okay, so basically, it sounds like RUSD rose to the challenge, and that's the only local school district that's represented at this point?
Yes, so we have direct ties to RUSD. They do a lot of tours within RCRA and other facilities with us. So they tagged it on Instagram, so we got a lot of publicity
Nice.
from them. So that's why we had
Oh,
such
that's
a
great.
high response from RUSD students. But
Okay.
again, as far out as Compton area saw it, so.
Wow, that's great.
I have a question. So if we've had a huge response, which super exciting, right? Super exciting. How are we doing the selection criteria? Is it just based on first come, first serve, or are we prioritizing perhaps incoming seniors that may be looking for, how are you going about the selection of those individuals?
Great question. So, very difficult because we're looking for those that have no work experience, so we can't really judge them on their past work experience, as well as we're building into the program resume workshop and career building skills. So it's very hard to judge someone just based on their application materials. But we did ask pointed questions to the applicants, so that's really how we weaned down the 88 applicants to 8, is based on their responses to the targeted questions we had in the application.
Wow, okay. I'm going to make a comment because I just love this. I'm going to make a comment and I'm going to challenge my colleagues. I am happy to volunteer my time to come and speak with these kids and do anything I can to assist with those kind of opportunities, resume building, job interview questions, how do you launch and do things. I'm happy to do that, and I'm willing to volunteer my time. So anything that I can do to assist with your guys' success in this area, I'm happy to jump in.
Thank you.
Great.
I just want to see them. Bring them to one board meeting. That's all.
Well, it'll probably be a committee meeting.
Okay.
So we're planning probably a ComGov committee meeting to do it because you'll hear later why we won't do it at a board meeting, so just hold on to that.
Okay, okay. All right.
All right.
Great.
I'm ready to go on.
Go, please.
Okay, and that's a pilot program.
This was so exciting.
I know, don't get too excited. It's a pilot. We got to figure out how it's going to work. And so there's a reason that, we didn't want to bite off more than we could chew as a staff. So,
Eight interns is actually a lot.
yeah.
It's a
Well,
lot for staff because
remember,
it gives
this
you an
is-
extra job.
This is in addition
It's
to our
huge.
other internship programs, like our WR COG program and other things. So,
No.
we're pretty active in interns, and it does create more work for our staff.
Absolutely. That was for me to say, I'm grateful that you
Yeah.
guys are willing to do so much.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
Last,
Craig, before you go
Oh,
on, just an observation is that paid internships are really rare for high school
Yes.
age.
They're
You
rare for
see it more
college.
often in college students.
Yeah.
But that's a really good thing about this, and get them interested early. And just a paid internship for high school students is pretty rare.
It's a big deal.
And I'm surprised that none of them have a work history. When I went to high school, everybody worked. And
Mike
went to high
was
school.
working at
That's
6 years old.
changed.
all right, second item I have, we had a really great event last week, our annual team building event. This is where the entire organization comes together over lunch. We bring in a leadership trainer to talk with the entire organization. And this event was really, really fun. We tied a program together where the leadership trainer incorporated into the training an activity which was building bikes that we then donated to the Boys and Girls Club. So we ended up donating 24 bikes to the community through the Boys and Girls Club, and a great team environment to build the bikes, which included having to answer questions to get the parts to your bike. And then you had a team assignment to build team camaraderie to get parts to your bike so you could build your bike. So it was a really fun idea, and it worked great.
Is that the clap video from?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that one. I shared it. It was really creative. I really
Yeah,
liked it.
it was really fun.
Yeah, it was.
And the Boys and Girls Club had representatives here that collected the bike, thanked the staff for everything, and then loaded them, and off they went. Oh, WRCOG is in the house. This isn't just Director Denstad. We've got more. Just FYI, as they're modifying their location, they needed some space. And so we're giving them some temporary space upstairs. Literally, they're in the house.
I'm like, where are they?
Like, I was like,
Yeah, so,
Looking for them?
so WRCOG, as you know, purchased a building last year, and the TI is getting ready to happen upstairs, and then a tenant came in unexpectedly with an offer that WRCOG signed on, and so they need to vacate the space that they were intending to sit in until the TI was done, but now the tenant is going to occupy, so they need to find a location to put some staff, because they have TUMF checks and a variety of different outreach that they need to have a physical location for people to be able to drop off things too. So, yeah, so I'm happy to see that we're able to accommodate, and thank you to staff for working that out.
Sure. Recent activities. Last week I presented to the Riverside Chambers, to their economic development group. It was really fun presentation. We usually get in front of them when we need something out of them, like we got a rate adjustment coming, or connection fees, or we got a lot of support out of them for SB 72. And so this time we just presented to them all the work that Western's been doing to create a resilient water future for Riverside. And so we just want to keep water front and center with that chamber group, because that's the business connection. And we don't do a great job in water getting our business community to understand it and support it. They certainly know the value, but it's not front and center for them. So really good response out of them, and I just want to thank Nick again for allowing us to do that. Candy Judd, we had a really nice celebration for Candy. Her last day was Friday. So she's retired. We are initiating the recruitment for her position, so you'll hear more about that. I had a meeting with the California Water for All Leadership Group. So, this is the campaign that led to SB 72. It's not over. SB 72 was the first step in California Water for All. So we got to keep that front and center in the water community. So we continue to do that, including we're kicking off a new outreach program for the next 6 months that we've gone out and solicited economic support from our supporters again to pay for the next 6 months of that activity in collaboration with CMUA, who was the sponsor of that bill, and they're going to share some of their outreach resources with the consultant that we're hiring. So that continues. Great news last week. We were at Rancho and Elsinore to get them to approve our internal agreements for the San Diego Exchange water. So remember, we got water, and we created an environment for our agencies to get water through that. We have a 120-day period to exercise that option, and so they needed to take action with their boards. They did that. Corona didn't take action with their board because Tom Moody has the authority to sign, but all three agencies approved it. We'll be bringing that to you next board meeting for approval, hopefully. You'll approve that, and a signing ceremony with those agencies at the next board meeting. So excited about that.
It's just 3 of our wholesale agencies took
It's
advantage?
3 opted to participate.
Wow.
We offered it to everybody, and 3 have opted to participate. And it was the 3, well, we actually thought 4 might, but they were very clear in that they might be interested in the future.
And
But
that they can participate in.
remember, that agreement, we did a lot of negotiating to get an on-board or an additive ability every single year that San Diego offers water.
Okay.
And so we can keep increasing, and we have options, 3 different options each time San Diego offers additional water.
Got it.
So they may exercise that in the future. I attended the member agency managers meeting last week, and then Monday and yesterday, I was up in Sacramento with the Water Solutions Summit Group, which is kind of the think tank group that came up with SB 72. And, oh boy, we had a conversation yesterday about the advisory committee. There's 3 of us right now, well, actually, I think 4 of us, from the Water Solutions Summit Group that are on the advisory committee. And that Water Solutions Summit Group wants to make sure that the advisory committee is successful and DWR is successful. And that group feels a lot of ownership for SB 72, and they want to make sure they recognize how much work went into that, and they want to make sure it's incorporated at DWR. So really good suggestions. Joel Metzger, who's in charge of this for DWR, was there, did a presentation. So a lot of collaborative effort there. But we just didn't hand off SB 72. It continues to move and in a positive direction. The last thing on my list is what I was talking about with the board. August 5th board meeting, 3 of our board members will be attending the CASA conference, which means we don't have enough board members left to have a meeting. And so I'm proposing that we just cancel that August 5th board meeting so that directors can go to CASA.
Okay, I'll miss you guys. I'm happy to come.
Whoops. Okay, it sounds like we have.
That concludes my report.
We have consensus, it sounds like,
That's
on
fine.
canceling that.
I'll share that with our board
August-
secretary so she knows what to
August
do.
5 meeting. Anyone have comments or questions? I just had, I just want to get a clarification. So you had the Water Solutions Summit meeting. Actually, I do have one question besides this. Water Solutions Summit meeting, that was just a couple days?
Yesterday.
Okay, yesterday. So what is the difference between item 6, you mentioned California Water Plan?
California Water for All.
I'm sorry, California, that's where I go, okay. So California Water for All, and that's where you're.
So the California Water for, I'll answer and then you can,
Okay.
you can push me in the direction you want. California Water for All is the outreach campaign, which includes the 200 supporters that we had for SB 72. We want those 200 supporters to stay together as an outreach group and
Okay.
grow. And so California Water for All is now continuing to fund that outreach effort with other supporters.
Okay,
So
perfect.
it's where the bill kind of came from. It was the supporters of SB 72. And now we want them to be very engaged in the advisory committee meetings, both the Sacramento ones and the regional ones that are going to take place.
Okay. And then the Water Solutions Summit, that's the GMs,
That's a special standalone group.
different groups.
Has- yeah.
Okay, GMs, okay. I think I mixed myself up because I wrote California Water Plan instead of California Water for All.
Yeah, it's the outreach
So-
group. It's the support community.
Okay. And then one other question, hopefully not trying to start a rumor, but did I hear that they hired someone to replace Carla Nemeth
They
at
did.
DWR?
That was announced,
Yesterday?
yes,
or-
2 days ago. Tom Gibson, who's an internal
Hire.
candidate. He was one of, I'm not sure what they're called, a senior deputy to Carla Nemeth. I think there were 2. And so they have appointed that internal person. So,
Okay, and it wasn't interim, he's,
no, I think
His
it's an
job.
appointment.
Okay,
to
that's what I thought
that
I read.
leadership role.
okay. I was
As
just
far as I
curious.
know, I'm really getting that from the Water Solutions Group yesterday.
Ah, And I think I probably got it from Facebook.
Yeah, it's official.
That's why I was.
I haven't seen a press release yet.
Okay, yeah.
It may be out today,
I don't
I'm
think
not
it had
sure.
a lot of information on it, so, okay, great. And everybody else okay on questions or discussion? All right, that's quite a report,
That was a
Mr.
lot.
Miller.
That
My
was a lot.
goodness. Good things, good things. Okay, our director comments and requests. Director Garner, do we have a SAPA?
Just a very quick one. SAPA meets tomorrow, but they are required to file an annual Santa Ana River Regional Bacteria Monitoring Program report. And the report for 24-25 was filed with the Regional Water Quality Control Board yesterday. It's on the SAPA website if anybody wants to look at it.
Okay, thank you. And how about Metropolitan?
Well, Metropolitan, we got a great presentation today, so I don't
Yes.
think you need to hear anything from me besides we don't meet until the 13th and the 14th for committee day and board day. So I'll have more to report then and keep you posted.
All right. Chino Basin Water Master.
Chino Basin Water Master met last week. It was an extra exciting meeting.
Good way to describe it.
Really?
Yeah.
I can tell.
I can't tell all of it because it happened in closed session,
Darn it.
but they did take some significant actions. They accepted as complete the 2025 Safe Yield Reevaluation Report as amended several times. And the number that comes out of that is safe yield ought to reduce by about 10,000 acre feet a year. So from 131,000 acre feet a year down to roughly 111,000. And if that doesn't happen and all of their projections come true, sometime in about 2050, we'll begin to have a negative impact on the basin. So there will be discussion at the August meetings. Normally, Water Master is dark in August. They're going to be very active this August. There will be discussion at the Pools and Advisory Committee and at the board about whether we should reset the safe yield now, wait till 2030 when it has to be redone. And that'll be an interesting discussion. I do not wish to project how that will come out, but that should be, I hope, a productive discussion. They, pretty kind of routine, but it took a vote. They updated their pay schedule with cost of living raises based on CPI for Riverside, San Bernardino counties. They approved the fiscal year 25-26 assessment package. That was a long discussion because there are disputes about whether some things should be assessed that aren't or are being assessed that shouldn't be. Who's paying how much, who ought to be paying how much. It's tied up in the appellate court decision, which has been rendered, but all the parties have not yet completed, and Water Master has not completed complying with all the directives. Some directive has already been, well, was implemented. It's already been challenged at the trial court level. The judge has asked for additional briefing on a couple of items. We anticipate the judge is likely to rule probably in August. The judge has announced that he is most likely retiring in September and will be taking time off in October. So we will have a new judge who probably will have no idea what Water Master is or why they don't want to have anything to do with it. But the presiding judge will appoint someone. We have no idea who that will be as yet. And then the last action was They voted to levy the remaining replenishment and administrative assessments. We split it in two halves of the year because of the appellate court litigation, and it affected the assessment packages. Even though there is not agreement on them and it was not a unanimous vote, the assessment packages have been approved and submitted to the court for the court's approval, and we'll see what happens with challenges there. I expect more. And that's Watermaster.
Okay. Thank you. How about CDA? Is there?
CDA is dark in August, and I think they actually will be.
Dark in August or July?
I'm sorry, July.
Oh,
Dark
okay.
in July.
Okay. Dark, all right. And how about RCRA?
RCRA is
Oh.
dark until September.
Until September, that's the
yes.
one, okay, September. I'll try not to ask you that every time.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And WRCOG.
WRCOG. So I have just a couple of things to talk about. So leadership for me officially ended yesterday. Woohoo! So it's now in the hands of the new leadership, which was voted on the night of General Assembly. Jackie Casillas from the city of Corona, followed by the first vice chair, which is Mike Laura, and then the second vice chair, which is Christian Dinko from the city of Eastvale. So congratulations to all of those folks for doing and stepping up to that leadership role and carrying things forward. You should have all received a survey for General Assembly to get feedback. We want your comments if there was something that didn't quite go like you expected it to, or things that you think we could improve on. We always want to get that feedback so that we can make the next one bigger, better, kinder, easier, whatever. If you have suggestions for a keynote speaker for next year, I am certainly open to suggestions. I have to tell you that having Tony Hawk as our keynote speaker this last year, it generated quite a buzz. We sold out before any of the previous General Assemblies really, really quickly. I had people that were trying to call me and hit me up for tickets. I'm sorry, we had so many tables. It was not something that could happen. If you didn't get in, you didn't get in. So it was a really interesting thing to see somebody that had such a popularity of people of a certain age, mostly men, and how many fangirls there were after this guy. It was really entertaining, I have to tell you. If you were there, you saw that I entered on my skateboard, okay, that I had. It was a Tony Hawk skateboard. It was my skateboard that I purchased, and Tony actually, I had it up on stage, and when he did his keynote, he actually got on my skateboard and rode it across the stage, which was awesome. And then he signed it for me, which was very kind of him. I was surprised to learn, too, that day, he had hip surgery the day before, folks. He had hip surgery the day before. So it was really interesting, and thank you for him to power through that and come and be, at General Assembly. I hope you really enjoyed it. The centerpieces that both Eastern and Western sponsored and did were a big hit. Everybody loved them, and I don't think there were any left in the room at the end of the night. They all disappeared. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful event. We are dark in July. We did have our executive committee meeting the day after General Assembly, as tradition holds. We did have a number of items that were discussed. One, we got a debrief of the General Assembly and all of the things that came from that. We did talk about housing affordability in Western Riverside County. It was a very interesting presentation to listen to. And we received some other reports from the interim director and from the chair regarding a couple of items. We don't meet again until August, and as General Manager reported, the WRCOG staff will be in here starting next week, right? I think is when they take up residency next Monday, I think is when they come. Okay, so they'll be here for a short time occupying in our space. So again, thank you to staff for making that space available to them to be able to use. Other than that, I think that is all that I have.
Okay, thank you. And Sarah?
Not till September.
Oh, that one, so they're both,
Yeah.
okay. Let me write that down. And how about Aqua, Director Densler?
Yeah, Aqua Region 9 program is happening this month in a couple of weeks. I believe we're all registered. We've got our very popular Mr. Miller that'll be presenting at that program. So it's out at Wilson Creek on the 17th of July. So it starts in the morning and it'll be, you know, a pretty full day for you. So we should be done by mid-afternoon or so, and it is a luncheon, so we hope that you are able to attend. It should be a very interesting program. And that is all I have for that.
Thank you. We'll move to Director comments. Director Gardner?
I have none except that it would, WR thought would have been better if the outgoing leader had done more tricks without hurting herself.
Oh, I like that caveat.
Look, we did not carry that much liability insurance, all right? I don't know what to tell you folks, but I rode out on that skateboard on stage. I was escorted. The skateboard kept getting hung up on the stage. I launched myself in the rehearsal off the front of the damn thing. So almost gave the interim executive director a heart attack that I was going to lose my front teeth. Okay, I did not fall, and I did not fall off the stage. So just want you to know I caught myself, all right? So it's all good.
Oh, okay. Anything else, Director Gardner?
No.
No? Okay. Director Denstedt?
I have nothing.
No? Director Torres?
Yeah, I just want to say that General Assembly was amazing. It was a great time. Yeah, super full. You know, I'm always this person that thinks I won't fangirl, and then I did. So it was, but it was a good, it was a really good event. And Mexico won that night, so it was definitely amazing. Just want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. If you don't have plans, tonight, the city of Riverside will be having a drone show at Fairmont Park. I think it's the first one.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's the very first one. Drone show. So drones,
Instead of fireworks.
yeah.
No, the fireworks are on the 4th.
The fireworks are on the 4th at Mount Rubidoux,
Right.
like always, but tonight there will be a drone show. So
Nice.
it looks like fun. And then, just I hope happy World Cup. We're in round of 32.
Nice. Director Rizvi?
Couple of things. Well, I want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. I will be participating in the Corona, City of Corona Parade. I love that event, so looking forward to that. This past Saturday, I got to represent Western at the South Pacific Emmys. Our Beyond the Water drop was nominated. It was a great event. I shared, after the event, I shared about it, so I got a lot of questions. I got to share that video with so many people. They're like, "Oh, which video is that?" And I was able to talk about how it was done in house. Like, most of it was our employees, and it was Tammy was there, and we had a great time. It was the event was really long. We didn't anticipate it. We were number 14th, and we waited till 11. Yeah, we waited till 11:30. Our turn came up about 11:30 at night, so it was a long evening, but it was worth it. It was just to have our just representation and talking about water, and with some amazing work, some amazing documentaries. I think it was very powerful, and it was really, kudos to the staff for working so hard and working towards it. So that was it. And the WRCOG, this is one of the events that we always look forward to attending. So great job congratulations for the whole year. 2 years you
Yeah.
you were there. Yeah, so. All righty. Okay. And that's about it for me.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple comments. Today, July 1st, is the 15th birthday of Harupa Valley as a city. And I have pretty vivid memories of that very first meeting on July 1, 2011. And it was at Patriot High School. And we had 4 days actually of celebrations. We had a celebration weekend and different events each day, but the dinner, and I want to think it's the same sequence. No, I think the first was maybe a Friday, and then it went through the weekend to the 4th of July. We had an equestrian event one day. We had a parade in a ridiculously hot weather that reflected off the asphalt, that people were just melting. We had the meeting, and then I think we had a dinner after the meeting. But in any case, we had a team of residents called the Celebration Committee, and they put in their heart and soul into really celebrating our incorporation as a city. And we are having not we as in I didn't plan it, but on Saturday, July 11th from 4 to 8 at Harupa Valley City Hall, they're having a celebration. And I've reached out to at least 30 people that were kind of there at the beginning that I was afraid may not have heard. It's always so hard to get the word out about things like that. And I'm surprised how many of them were like, I didn't know about it, I didn't. So I'm hoping to see a lot of old friends and faces there when we attend. My husband and I are going to attend on Saturday. They did a resolution at their last council meeting this week, and myself and previous council member Mike Goodland were both there, and they called us up and they did the resolution, and it was very pretty in a pretty frame and nice paper, and I thought they were just doing it to honor the city and that they were going to hang it up in City Hall. And the mayor, Brian Berkson, was standing right next to me, and he's like, well, I think you should have this. And I was like, well, no, Brian, you hang it in City Hall. He's like, no, I'm taking mayor's privilege, and I am having you take this home. So I was really touched by that. And for those of you that might not know, I was the first mayor in the city of Harupa Valley. So it means a lot to me, making it through this time and getting through so many struggles, especially at the beginning. But anyway, so happy birthday, Harupa Valley, today. And happy 4th of July to everyone. 250 years. I remember leading up to the 200 that was such a milestone event, and here 50 more years have passed, which is incredible. Of course, I was a baby at the first one, but anyway, so happy, safe, and sane, and enjoy time with your families, and I'm praying for no fires. Those first responders out there, whether they're police or fire, have a huge job this coming weekend. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And with that, do we have any requests for future agenda items? I don't see any. So, Mr. Ballinger, would you move us into closed session, please?
Yes, the board will be going into closed session to discuss the 4 items as listed on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Do you guys need... Okay, whoops. We will come back into open session, and Mr. Neufeld will give us our report or not report.
Thank you, Madam President. There is no reportable action from any of the closed sessions that were held today.
Okay.
Mr. Ballinger has assured me.
All right, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
With that, if there's nothing else, we will adjourn at 12:23.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, oh, God.